Hello and welcome to Enterprise Weekend on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Ikubiki. Of course, I'm not alone today. I have the most finest Chinyere.
Thank you so much, Harry. Good morning, viewers. Hope you're doing great. Harry, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
And you?
Well, I got all nostalgic this morning, remembering how, as a growing girl in the streets, on the streets of Port Harcourt, how my mother would, prepare for Easter, buy chicken, buy fish. But we don't see much of that happening these days. And then what could be the cause, Harry?
Well, subsidy is gone. And when subsidy, goes, everything goes along with it also. So I do not, blame the situation on anyone, but of course on the policies that we have. Because if we have the right policies, there's no reason for us as a people not to have more than enough to celebrate Easter and so many other festivities in Nigeria. That's what I think.
Anyways, expect me at your house tomorrow because I saw the goat you got yesterday. So that's a soup. Now me and you go chop.
It's well, it's fine. All right.
Right, now to our main conversation. The Court of Appeal in Asaba has upheld the judgment in favor of 15 victims of police brutality in Etua Oliogo in Ndokwa West local government area of Delta State against the Nigerian police force, affirming that the police violated the fundamental rights of the victims.
Yes, the case between the Commissioner of Police Delta State, Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 5 Headquarters, and Inspector General of Police as appellants and the respondents, namely Etua Oliogo and Etua ATT communities, was in response to an appeal filed by the police against a judgment delivered by Justice F.A. Olubanjo of the Asaba Division of the Federal High Court of Nigeria.
A little background to the story. In the early hours of the 21st of May 2022, a combined team of armed forces, officers of the police in Delta State, numbering more than 30, with no less than 6 trucks, raided the respondent communities, Etua Oliogo and Etua ATT, all Kwale villages in Utagba, Uno, Ndokwa West local government area of Delta State, shooting indiscriminately and sporadically and killing one in the process.
Yes, the Federal High Court judgment delivered on January 7, 2023 found the arrest and detention of the appellants by the police from May 21, 2022 until the date of the judgment to be illegal, unconstitutional, unlawful, and a violation of their fundamental human rights. The court ordered the police to release the appellants unconditionally or arraign them before a court of competent jurisdiction within 21 days of the judgment. However, the court refused to award certain reliefs requested by the appellants.
The appeal court, while dismissing the appeal filed by the police, affirmed the decision of the Federal High Court regarding the respondents' release, but set aside the relief sought. On this appeal, the appeal court awarded 10 million naira as aggravated and exemplary damages to the respondents, Etua Oliogo and Etua ATT communities under Section 15 of the Court of Appeal Act. Additionally, the court awarded 500,000 naira as cost against the police and in favor of the respondent.
Well, with us today in the studios to discuss this very important, of course, very sensitive issue today in the studios is Dr. Evans Ufeli. He is a barrister at law and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, barrister.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Weekend today.
My pleasure.
Good morning, sir. Great to have you.
Thank you.
So, looking at the story, it's an apparent display of breach of fundamental human rights. But for the sake of our viewers, I'd love for you to put us in the picture of what really transpired.
Well, what transpired is that, by the way, I'm from Etua community. Okay. I'm from Etua ATT. Etua is within the same community, just a quarter. Etua ATT is a quarter. Etua is a quarter. On the 21st of May 2022, at the dead of the night, at the early hours of the morning, as we call it, the police invaded the Etua and Etua ATT community. Now, they arrested 15 persons that early and shot one dead in a village. And in doing that, they created pandemonium because a lot of people were aghast as to what had happened. We were taken unaware. unawares, and they did all the operations and took these people away. So we stepped into the matter to find out why the police would carry out such a Gestapo operation in our village, in our community, not knowing the reasons. We're all at loss. So we went to the Commissioner of Police of Delta State, CP R. Mohammed, who is now in Zone 2 in Lagos, to make these inquiries as to why we should be invaded in a manner. We decided to bring an action to enforce their fundamental right before the Federal High Court in Asaba. We filed that case as a way of protest and as a way of enforcing the fundamental rights of our kinsmen. Now, after some time, our court system go through a process. We got judgment in our favor, and the court ordered the police to go produce our kinsmen. Okay, the orders for relief, other relief that we asked for damages were not granted as a result of the court's own reason. We don't know why. So, we were waiting for the police to obey the orders of court. We had written letters to them and all that to ensure that the orders of court is obeyed. But they did not. What they did rather was to file an appeal. They filed an appeal and a notice of appeal rather, and proceeded to do the needful. They didn't serve us, so we're not served. I was somewhere when, because I have a friend at the Court of Appeal, he called me on phone and told me that he saw a process, a notice of appeal, and that my name is in the court process. That do I have any appeal? Have we been served? And I said, no, that's how I got to know that the police had appealed the judgment. So I called the substantive counsel from our village to inform him that, that is Esuma Felix, to inform him that, Barrister Esuma Felix, to inform him that this is what I have seen. Now, they made further inquiries and discovered that these people had gone on appeal. So we braced up to the appeal, and the case commenced. After all arguments here, and the court heard all arguments and all that, and fixed a date for judgment, which was now 2 weeks ago. And the Court of Appeal delivered a judgment stating clearly on clear terms that the police must go produce our kinsmen from wherever it is they kept them. And because we came under Section 15 of the Court of Appeal Act, the court also granted damages of the sum of 10 million naira each for all the victims, the respondent in this case, and 500,000 naira cost of litigation against the police. Aggravated and exemplary damages for the victims and all that. So the painful part about this case is that one of the victims, used to be a soldier in the Nigerian army and had fought during the peacekeeping mission in Liberia. And he has a son who lives with him. Both the father and the son were part of those who were taken away by the police. The father was shot at the leg, and the son taken away. Another case is a husband and a wife who were taken away, leaving their children behind in the village. So this is a pathetic case, one that troubles the souls of the indigents of Etua. And we find it intolerably repulsive that the police will keep paying this lip service to this. We have organized press conferences, we have made demands, we have done advocacies, we have protested. There is nothing we have not done to ensure that these persons who were taken away unjustly from our community were returned. But we have not gotten, we have engaged the judicial system because we're peace-loving people. We did not take the laws into our hands. We engaged the judicial system. We have gotten judgment in our favor. still, our kinsmen are still in captivity.
So we sincerely feel, for your community, and of course, it's a very, constant thing that we see in Nigeria amongst so many other community, and we love to, sincerely, say we are deeply, not comfortable with what is happening. But I would love to ask you this, looking at the plethora of human violation by the Nigerian police force in Nigeria, especially with what is happening in your community, I would love you to maybe talk on this. The Police Act in Section 29, states that a police officer may detain and search any person whom he reasonably suspects of having in his possession or conveying in any manner anything which he has reason to believe to have been stolen or otherwise unlawfully obtained. Now the question is, how do we try to, go against not allowing the police force use this as a tool to violate the rights of people, like was done in your community?
Yeah, the abuse is what is paramount in the case under reference. The section you cited empowered the police to make arrests upon reasonable suspicion. No one is against that. Reasonable suspicion, yes. But the same law made provisions in the Constitution that when you now arrest, you must not keep the person beyond 48 hours. 24 hours actually, you cannot keep them before after 24 hours. And if you must do so, it must be that there's no court within a radius of 40 kilometers. You understand? So nobody is saying they shouldn't arrest. We cannot vouch for all the people in our community. Okay, if you have people who have criminal intent or they have committed an offense, we are not against. In fact, we will be the ones to go and bring the police to arrest the person. That is how our community is. But in this case, the persons who were arrested, we don't know what they did. There was no communication as to what they have done. You arrested them in a Gestapo operation. You did not release them or charge them to court. This is the second year. It's going to 2 years now. May this year will make it 2 years. May 21st. That is just 1 month away from now, 2 months away from now. Will make it 2 years. The law said you should not keep them more than 24 hours or 48 hours at most. So you see that whichever way you look at it, there's a violation of the right. That is why the court granted judgment in our favor.
Okay.
To the fact that you have to, because what the police have done is to spit on our collective heritage and dynasty, to devalue us as a people, and to ensure that we are not able to do anything about it. But this is to let the police know that we take this matter to the highest point and the highest authority whatsoever.
No,
They must produce our kinsmen.
Is the Inspector General of Police aware of all of this?
Yes. We had written letters to the Inspector General of Police.
And what has he done to that effect?
They have done nothing. They won before the current one. Then the CP Delta States, they won before the current one. Of course, the one now should have a case file of this, because the appeal, that the judgment we got on appeal now was delivered whilst the current one is in office.
Okay.
The previous is also still in office, but down in Zone 2 here in Lagos. Okay. So we cannot afford to lose one person. Not when you came and took 15 persons and shot one there, down there in our community. Desecrate our community with an act of illegality and unrestrained violence.
Barrister Evans, I'm sorry that this is so emotional, but talk to us about the Nigerian jurisprudence as a thought leader in that sector. It's been 2 years. By next month, 21st, it'll be 2 years, sad to say. Tell us why this case has dragged on. From your account, I understand there's a boy of 13 and there's a woman. It said a couple. They took a couple away. So there's a woman in the midst of the people who were arrested. It's been 2 years already. Why is the legal system, arranging or fostering cases to drag on? Is it a backlog of cases that they have? Because if you help me, or if you allow me to say, I'll say that this is, some of the reasons why people take laws into their hands. You see jungle justice because, I mean, citizens do not have any sort of fidelity in our legal processes because it takes just too much time to get judgment and all of that. What do you think the legal system, should be doing? And then should there be a total rejig of the Nigerian legal system?
Well, yes, I think so. But to be fair to the legal system in the case under reference, the legal system have been expeditious because we've had cases that will drag actually more than this. Within a year and we have gotten judgment at the Court of First Instance and at the Court of Appeal at the same time. In fact, the appeal didn't take up to 5 months.
Okay.
It was less than 5 months. About 4 months and. So that was fast, in my estimation. Okay? I know what it is when you file an appeal in Lagos or Abuja. As we speak, when you are filing an appeal at the Supreme Court in Abuja, there is no 2026 date again. They'll give you 2027. Because the Supreme Court's calendar is overstretched. Not like the court deliberately we want the matter to go. We have too many cases and we have few judges. You understand? The number of courts we have, not too much. In the major cities. You understand? So, to be fair I know we have a slow judicial system in terms of expeditious dispensation of justice. But in this case, the court have not been slow. The court have been up and doing. And the court have been fair. Reasonably fair on the issue. So
is there a way the people on the reference can get bail while the case is still ongoing? The people who were taken from the village?
The motion for bail and all that were all filed. Okay. The court dispensed justice has given judgment. I mean, judgment is even better than a ruling. Okay. Okay, in a manner of speaking. The court, but because you have layers of appeal, the police wanted to frustrate us, took the matter to the Court of Appeal, thinking we will not be able to continue the case. But this is to let them know that even if they take the case to the devil's den, we will have our representation there with them. And will ensure that our kinsmen must be produced. It does not matter how long it takes. They must produce them. Because you cannot just come into a man's house, take all his belongings and walk away, including material and human resources, and walk away and then you think all is well. It cannot be well. It cannot be well. They must release them. And they must pay the damages as awarded by the court. They must pay it.
All right, sir. This is a form of a community versus the highest authority. And my question is, when issues like this go beyond the community, it's often very common to see the community take it to the highest council, the state government, for example. And the question is, what is the Delta State government doing about this? Are they aware of their situation? With their mind, what have they been able to do in order to ensure that this issue comes to a last end?
Yes, we did letters to the relevant authorities. I mean, the chief of the village with selected members, respected members of the village, all went to Asaba. You understand? For a meeting on the issue. We are already very pained. But what we're saying is that irrespective of the pain, don't bother, just release them to us. Let's have them back. You understand? All that became abortive. That was why we even went to court in the first place. We didn't envisage we should be going to court. It's because we cannot take the laws into our hands. Having exhausted all attempts to ensure the matter is resolved outside the legal system. But since they were not forthcoming, they were claiming they don't know, they shot one person dead who ordered that operation, who ordered them to shoot at sight. Why did they come to our village?
They got a tip-off, apparently.
So why did they come to our village? Why? What are the offenses of the victims under reference. Nothing. So who do you do that to in this day and age? I'll keep quiet and be looking at you. This is the worst case ever I have seen in my practice of law.
Now, we do not wish this upon the community and those that have been involved in this, but let's assume a worst case scenario, just like we've often seen with the Nigerian police. If this becomes a case of extrajudicial killing, what do you think is the next step?
Well, if it becomes a case of extrajudicial killing, we will make sure that we get justice for the victims and their families.
And to what extent can you go?
Well, we will undertake the necessary processes to ensure that we get justice, because there's no reason whatsoever given for them to have been taken to wherever they took them to. There's no reason whatsoever, and we cannot allow that to slide. Because if we allow that to slide, what it will mean is that anybody can come from anywhere into our community at any time, carry out any kind of atrocities, just because they know we will not be able to pursue it. We will not allow this slide. We'll make sure that we go to the deepest root of this to ensure that we, get the right formation and the right legal recompense for both the victims and their families.
True. Very true. Well, so often say that human rights violation is a crime against humanity itself, and it's so very sympathetic, and that we were having such a kind of case in Nigeria in the new millennium. It's really, really, really pathetic. I do not know how, we can stop this from happening. I do not know, but of course we continue to pray that the Nigerian authority and those that had such would ensure that the human right is respected, is protected, and everything is done possible to ensure that Nigerians, see reasons to be happy that they are Nigerians. Don't you think so?
Well, Henry, I totally align with your thought, but this is unfortunate, especially when the police is supposed to be our friend. As a proverbial saying, the police is our friend. But in this case, it doesn't seem like the police is our friend. And then when the barrister says justice will be gotten, for me, when life is lost, there's no amount of justice, because are you bringing the dead back? What do you mean by getting justice? But we just hope that that's not the case.
Yes, exactly, very true. All right, so this is just about the time we have for our show today. I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Vance Ofeli.
It's my pleasure.
For being part of
Thank you
our
for your
show
time.
today.
Thank you.
And for you watching, we also want to say thank you so very much for taking our time today to be part of our show. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwe BK.
And I'm Chinyere Igwe Odo.
Yes, on behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you for watching. Bye-bye from us.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.